How's that, dog?
That's it.
I've arrived.
We have sound.
Oh, wonderful. Awesome. How you been, dude?
It's good. Yeah, it's ironic to see your Canon camera over your shoulder.
Yeah, I'm not using that. I don't have that figured out yet. I tried. I've got a HDMI capture card, and I had it set up for the morning meeting today, and then I realized I had all of the camera info burn-in that like. It's got the little viewfinder for, autofocus, and all that shit was already up on the screen. So it's not a clean feed coming out of it.
There's this thing I use called, let's just get right to the nerd shit. It's called like EOS webcam utility or something. And it's just a Canon plugin that I got. They released it, I think, like last year. And so I'm actually using, this is my 60D. Okay. And it's just hooked up through the little port.
HDMI, right?
No, it's not HDMI. It's the AV out. It's like this random little plug that you probably don't have that cable,
Oh, certainly not.
No.
Yeah, if it came with that camera, it is gone.
And I don't even know if it came with it. Yeah, like this I bought 10 years ago. So like, but it's that cable that I'm always like, fuck, do I still have that cable? Because I bought it once, like 6 years ago. And then it's always somewhere in a cable rat's nest somewhere in a drawer somewhere.
I have boxes of cables that are just, tangled up.
Yeah. It's funny they come in handy though, But I guess worst case scenario, you would just like buy one for $6.
So like one of the things my dad, like he's a pack rat. Like we couldn't park a car in the garage growing up because it was just full of his shit.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I've been really cognizant of is like, when's the last time I used this cable?
Yeah.
I let it go, Just it's picking and choosing the ways that I'm turning into my father.
I'm a hoarder. I'm a fucking hoarder, like straight up and down. Like I have my wife the other day, we were like organizing some shit and she was like, you always complain that there's no space for you in the house, but you have all these like secret fucking areas. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, that drawer, that entire fucking cabinet over there. Have you opened your closet lately? Like, it's not good.
The creep comes. It just expands outward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've always been this way though. Like if like my mom wanted me to go through shit in my room, like I would have a fucking panic attack. Like I hold on to shit. There's something like some trauma based shit happening surrounding that. Like
certainly, yeah, most of the things I do in life are trauma responses from my childhood.
It's cool getting older and just more cognizant of it. I mean, it doesn't maybe at some point it'll like fuel change, because I guess like knowledge is the first step, right?
I mean, being aware of our habits and our tendencies, and then once we're aware of them, we can actually do something about them or just go, it's fine. It's not killing me. There's a higher priority issues in my life.
Yeah, there's this hierarchy, I guess. Yeah, but it's weird though, because I find that sometimes I can become obsessed with the figuring out of the why, but then like that can cause its own paralysis. Like, because I could just focus on like, just open up the closet and just like, if I haven't worn that shirt in 5 years, get rid of it. But instead, like, I'm like, but why can't I open my fucking closet? Why can't I, like, it's just like...
I mean, there's people with degrees for that,
It's true, and they get paid handsomely. The thing is, though, they also don't really benefit from fixing you.
No, I mean, it is sort of that like American healthcare model, right? Where like there's no money in the cure.
It's weird. I mean, I've had some wonderful therapists who I love dearly, but I'm always like, if I get better, like they got to fill that $200 an hour slot somehow.
You know what though? There's a trauma born every minute.
It's true. It's true, dude. It's true. And this generation of kids, the kids who are like 8 right now, 10, 12, like all of those children should become therapists because all of their peers are going to fucking need therapy.
You just think from the pandemic?
Still here. If it hasn't burned by then. Yeah, I think so. I also think that like we're living in the height of like anxiety. Like I think that like this, I often think that like, and I think you're probably around my age. I was born in 84.
Okay, yeah, close enough.
I think that like I always think about our generation as being so defined by anxiety because I always chalk it up to Y2K because I remember being in school and like the lead up to Y2K, it was like the world's going to collapse, but nobody really knows. There was no like definitive information.
Right. It was all just like, hey, get worried. Something might happen.
Exactly.
I think we're also like, we were the first generation of like Columbine, you know? So
that's true. Yeah. It was Columbine was in 98 and then 98, or I think it was 98. And then Y2K, obviously, you know, a mere 17 months later or whatever, 20 months later, like, you know, but this generation, like, cause us being on our phones all the time and just flipping through, you know, and all the constant, like, you know, comparison as the thief of joy, just breeding anxiety, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, it just hooks into that one little slot and you get that utility, the EOS webcam utility, and you'll be riding with that Canon.
Dude, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to not having to like swap cards between takes when I'm trying to like film TikToks.
Yeah.
Weird fucking sentence to say is like I've started doing a TikTok and it's been fun, and I had one go kind of viral. I got like 20,000 views on one that was teaching them how to make head slates. Just amazing. Like, hey, here's a slate, and then you got 2 seconds, and then here's your 2 pop, and then picture starts at an hour, and it's just, here's how you change your start time and your sequence settings, and it blew up.
Look at that.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know how to do things. So, and it's easy to transmute that information like in a consumable format, you know? I mean, it's not easy to create the content, but it's easy to make it digestible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, I've been kind of thinking about what I want to do in like the next, what's my 5-year, 10-year plan? Like,
yeah.
And I kind of, did you watch Light and Magic? It's a Disney Plus documentary. Lawrence Kasdan directed it. It's about ILM from like their story from like Star Wars, like A New Hope to present day, where they're, you know, on the fucking cutting edge of what is visual effects.
Sure.
And like we have digital video because of George Lucas. Like he was editing Star Wars and he was like, this would be a lot easier on the computer. So I'm going to go and invest in those technologies and work with those people so that I can do this all on the computer. And then like he got to a Phantom Menace and he was like, okay, let's take her from this take and then him from this take, and we're going to composite those together.
Fucking
and,
guy
like,
ruined my life.
You know? Yeah,
literally ruined our lives.
Yeah, now everyone's just like, oh yeah, you just do a split screen, it's fine. This is handheld. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. No, we'll just do a dirty composite, and then it'll be fine.
Yeah. Never mind that they're gonna like run down to the deadline.
What's your VFX budget?
That's someone else's problem. But no, so like I was kind of blown away at like how like George Lucas was just like, no, I want to see this change in the world. And so he pushed the technology and he pushed he put his money into it and he got people to get behind it. And now we have Pixar and digital video, and like we've got fucking, you know, these things we can watch and make movies in our pockets.
Yeah, I mean, and this, what we're doing right now, you know.
And so I started to think about like, what would my thing be if I could do one thing to change what film is in this industry, what it is to be in the film industry. And I want us to be the last generation that had to come here to get into the industry.
Right.
I want there to be a film scene in Austin. I want the film scene in Atlanta blow up. I want like Chicago to come back. I want there to be more regional film centers. And the best way to do that is, hey kids, here's how you can edit like a studio does. Here's how you do offline, online editorial. Here's how professionals in Los Angeles do it. Yeah. And I want companies in other places, because the traffic's not good. The traffic in this town is a nightmare. And if I could get people to stop coming here, that would be phenomenal.
That would really help us out.
Right?
I would really appreciate, you're doing the Lord's work right now. Please, because the weather is not nice, you know? So
yeah, no notes on that.
I'm not leaving. So like, no. But like, yeah, we do have an issue of like overcrowding. So yeah, good on you. Keep it up.
Step by step.
No, it's weird though, because I remember a friend who's an editor, probably like 10 years younger than me, maybe, you know, somewhere in there, and like really came up in like the next generation, like outside of like, you know, I mean, my first big jobs were in Avid, you know, and like there's a very stodgy Avid workflow and like, yep. And like there are very stodgy people who make sure that workflow is adhered to. Mm-hmm. And it does create this sort of gatekeeping, you know, of getting into the business. And I remember this person sort of never did any of that and just like started cutting at an agency, like, you know, one of the agencies that we've worked for. And and then got into like YouTube stuff, cutting YouTube stuff. Mm-hmm. And like, I want to be careful about how I phrase this, because I'm not trying to talk down on somebody, because their skill set, he's a very talented editor, but I've always felt like there's this like knowledge base that people who came up the generation after me don't necessarily have. And at one point, this person was like, yo, have you tried the transcribe feature in Premiere? I found it to be like really handy. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, why the fuck would I ever use the transcribe feature in Premiere? Like, we get our shit transcribed by transcription houses, you know?
Yeah. We pay for that. Why do we want to get that?
But so the other day, I'm like cutting together something for Instagram, for Reels, or for TikTok for myself. And I was like, their captioning system sucks. Let me see what Premiere's transcription shit is all about. And I was like, wow, this is actually amazing. And like their transcriptions are pretty solid, and then you can go in and edit them, whatever, and then create captions relatively easily. Like it really creates a sort of pretty seamless workflow, streamlined workflow. And I was like, man, I like, it was just like checking myself, like, that I do that thing of like, well, I know what's best, and there's no way that you could know what's best, because I've been around the block. And I remember when I first came to LA 10, 12 years ago, thinking about these Avid only editors and being like, these fucking people are dinosaurs. Like, you got to learn new shit. And then slowly over the course of a decade, like I'm not saying I became that, but I could see how you could become that.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and I mean, like, there was a guy I worked with a few years back, and he had come from features, and he was trying to get into, you know, marketing, and it's a totally different beast, and it's a different like pace, life pace, you know, when you turn around a bit quicker, and you know, it's not as comfortable as I think being a studio feature editor is. And I think that, what was I trying to say? I think it's really easy to once you feel established, just sort of like sit back and be like, well, this is how we've always done it. Why would it?
Right.
Whereas, I mean, the people that like the editor that Walter Murch, right? Like, dude used to cut on a Steenbeck and created the position of sound designer, you know?
Right.
Like, that wasn't a thing before he got in there. And then he was there on Avid 1. He was there on Final Cut. He's there on Premiere now because he's like, I want to see the way that like we can do this better and different. And he's never stopped learning new shit. And I was like, oh, I would rather be Walter Murch than this dude that cut a feature 30 years ago and now he's, you know, trying to get into marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember always saying that to myself, like, I'm never going to become that person who like refuses to learn something new or like looks down on something because it's like, you know, the up and coming like scrappy thing. But like, that's like everybody's existence is up and coming and scrappy. And then you become a thing and then you're like, oh, cool, I'm this thing now. And like, I don't know, that kind of, I don't know.
I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, like with the generation of TikTok editors, the people that are using like CapCut on their phones, there's a lot of really cool, you know, tools, but they don't necessarily have all of the features or, you know, things. I don't know that I could get an XML out of CapCut, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's strange.
I don't know how some of these new tools that are being developed by people that want to disrupt the industry are actually going to be useful to professionals that need to integrate into a upper level workflow where they're going to send it out for mix. They're going to have someone whose job it is to mix it. They're going to have someone whose job it is to color grade it. Like, those are trades, those are crafts, and they're important ones. And like, it doesn't matter how good you are as an editor, you're never going to be as good as a colorist at doing color.
Right.
You know? And so I feel like there's some of these tools that like, they're neat, they're cool, they're giving kids an opportunity to get into like what it is to edit, and they can do it on their phone. They don't even need Premiere. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to learn something more like Premiere in order to actually integrate into a professional level workflow.
Yeah, but it's like, what even is a professional level workflow though? Like, what, like if they can make 6 figures cutting fucking TikToks, like that's a professional level workflow, you know? Yeah,
no, Jesus. I wish I could have made 6 figures on my phone. You know?
I mean, I don't know if they can, but like, I don't know that. I certainly don't know that they can't.
I don't know that they can't, but I do think that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much they make. I mean, I'm sure that there are some that like they just do so much volume that they're making that. But I have a feeling that I don't know.
I also think that a lot of that shit is going through agencies now. Like a lot of that work, like influencer work is going through agencies. So it is going, you know, to mix, and it is going to color, and it is going, you know.
So some of them definitely are. But I worked on a project this last year that we were getting social media pieces in from other vendors, and it was very clear that like these were not being mixed. These were not going through the same workflow that we were going through with our clients. But I do think, like a lot of that stuff does go through agency work now. And I think there's also something to be said for like a lot of the marketing work, or at least some of it. There's this guy I follow on TikTok who works at VaynerMedia, which is like Gary Vee's company. And he was talking about how they would do side-by-sides and testing of, here's a nice glossy, professionally shot on an ARRI camera, color graded, mixed TikTok. And here's one that's just a guy walking with their phone and talking at the camera, and that one performed better.
Right.
You know? So maybe a high glossy, nice polished work isn't the future. Maybe it is a more informal, direct to camera, personal approach that they take.
we're in a strange like world, right? Like I can't get my bearings anymore. Like, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that like the TV show was the TV show. There's no such thing as the TV show anymore. Like, there's so much content that like there's never going to be the thing that everybody's talking about, because there's so much, it's just so disparate now.
Kind of dig that part of it though, because that means there's more people that have had a chance to have a voice, which is
for
dope.
sure.
You know,
but it's hard to know, but it's hard to be able to see around the corner of like, yeah, what's next? Like, is this like trend in, social media and TikTok and YouTube shorts and like all these short form video content that like, yeah, it's way more engaging to watch a TikTok that somebody's holding and whatever than it is like, where are we going with that? Like, what, I mean, I guess you just got to listen to what Gary Vee says, but
I mean, he just listens to what the algorithms tell him.
Right,
he just
right.
follows what the data says.
Right.
But I do think, or at least I hope, that there will always be a place in narrative storytelling where like people are interested in crafting high quality polished product. I mean, like there is a place for that. And not to get fucking, Scorsese about things, but I think that there is, a lineage of cinema. And I think there's also a place for, what were those fucking guys? The Mumblecore Duplass brothers, There's also that punk rock ethic of just going out, getting the shots and doing your thing, I think both of those have a place in the discourse. But I hope that we'll still have jobs in 20 years is what I'm getting at.
Well, you already have the 5-year plan, though, so you're not going to be looking for work in 20 years.
Well, I do want to direct, and I think I want to. You fucked with this Unreal Engine thing? You seen this? You heard about this?
Is that one of those like AI generator things?
No. So it's Unreal Engine is a video game engine.
Okay, yeah.
Unreal Tournament 2K3, that game from like 100 years ago. They kept building the video game engine, and now they use it for in-camera visual effects. So they'll have like a LCD panel wall, and then they'll have a motion tracker on the camera, and they will use a virtual camera to project or to map the environment behind the talent. It's what they use on like The Mandalorian and a lot of like the Disney stuff that they're doing now. And it's kind of like the future of in-camera VFX.
So
moving away from screens and stuff.
The movie that I'm working on right now, the campaign I'm working on for the movie, whatever, the campaign that I'm working on right now, in the BTS, I think I saw the thing that you're talking about, because I was like, what the fuck is that? It was like a driving scene. And so there was a car in front of it, and then the background was behind it, and it was all LED panels. So it's probably exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting way to, not have to shoot against the green screen or whatever, not have to key in the background or whatever. Which sounds fucking wild. It's funny because where I thought you were going was, something about like AI actors or something, And I remember when and I was reminded of this recently when I saw it, because it's that time of year. But I remember when Polar Express came out and being like, I don't know if it was like, if I feel like the temperature of everybody was like, this is the end of actors. We don't fucking need actors anymore. We have broken the uncanny valley or whatever it is. Like, this is it. We don't need, but people are always going to want people. And like, I think that even as, AI can do more of our jobs, there's still going to need to be somebody supervising that and making sure that it actually works. And I mean, I think maybe not. Maybe it'll get good enough that none of us will be necessary. And then we'll just be truly in, Ready Player One or some sort of Matrix reality, whatever.
Or the AI will just wipe us out, which is, fingers crossed. That's probably the best case scenario for the planet.
Probably, but like then what will the AI do? Like, because they're not going to be like, the AI isn't going to be like, oh, great, now we can just let nature proliferate the way that it should if no humans were here.
That's a really good question. I never really thought about, like what's Skynet's next steps, right? Like they wipe out all the people and then they're going to go to the beach. What's their plan?
Exactly. But is Skynet's existence reliant upon human existence? So does the AI self-destruct once humanity self-destructs, and then, a more beautiful world will, become possible?
And then it all just sort of starts over again, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, there weren't the beautiful flowers that we have during the Jurassic era, so it's just going to be something, the next iteration that's even more beautiful. It's weird because dinosaurs never came back, you would think like this is apex of everything, dinosaurs, but we didn't go back to that,
Yeah, no, you think that maybe we evolve back to dinosaurs or something, but it's just nah.
It's just us and our fucking machines.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. I don't know. So what's been stressing you out lately? Anything? What's in the news that's been?
No, it's funny because first of all, your email address, which, we could cut this part or whatever, but Tallarico at Gmail. I have Romolini at Gmail. Like, it's a rare fucking thing to have your last name at Gmail. But
really adopt, yeah.
It's funny because when I met you, you're the second Tallarico I had ever met. And the first Tallarico I met was my family's lawyer, Pasquale J. Tallarico. Pat Tallarico. Big, enormous man. God, rest in peace. But I never knew another Tallarico, So I was surprised because anybody with the last name Romolini who's in the United States, I'm related to within like 2 generations because we all come from the same. My grandfather's generation was like there was like 7 brothers and a sister, and that's it. That's in America. That's it. And so my assumption was like, you're probably related to my lawyer who had the house in Brigantine, New Jersey, and the house in South Philly, but probably not, maybe not.
Philly?
Yeah.
Actually, maybe. There is a guy in my family that I think is in Philly, but it's not like a direct connection. It's like one of my great grandfather's brothers settled in Philly instead of Steubenville, Ohio. And so like there's a couple of Tallaricos over there. But yeah, there's a few of us. I get a lot of their emails.
Steubenville is because I know another guy who's Italian and from Ohio. And again, this is my thing of if there's some marginal razor thin connection, they got to know each other. This is the way my mind operates. Maybe he's not from Steubenville though. It's somewhere else. Anyway, you're from Ohio?
My family is, yeah. Like my great grandfather came to Ohio, set up shop. He had 2 kids, and one of them was my grandfather. And the other one, I think he might have had kids. I'm not too close with a lot of my family, but
I understand.
Yeah, my grandfather had my dad's family, and yeah.
Did you do like a lot of Italian shit growing? Like, are you pretty culturally Italian?
No. We got cut off. Like it wasn't safe to be Italian at the time,
Sure.
And I kind of
know that. People don't really know that. It's all Sopranos and Goodfellas.
Right. No, it was like my grandfather refused to teach my great grandfather refused to teach his kids Italian because he was worried to get them in trouble. So we got fucking nothing. Like the closest thing to like an Italian recipe is my grandma. She's Irish, and she tried to make Italian, like a red sauce for my grandpa, and it's got like bell peppers in it. And bless her heart, like
my own.
It's not. But yeah, no, like I think so. The story in the family goes that like my grandpa came over in 1914, and then a couple years after, my great grandma came over. And they had the 2 kids, and then she kind of got postpartum depression because she didn't have anyone to talk to because she only spoke Italian. She didn't speak any English. And then she ended up in a sanitarium, like, because they thought she was fucking nuts because she didn't speak any English. Right. That's where she went, you know? And that was that. That was the end of.
And then you became Americans.
Yeah, real fast.
And then you started eating Wonder Bread.
America is real good at stripping people of their culture. It's a big assimilative thing that they love to do.
But no, it's for the best. It's because we're all one together. It's not. There's no nefarious.
It's not that we live in an evil empire or anything. That's
no. It's not that they just want us all to self-cannibalize so that they could just exploit our cultures and sell them back to us.
Exactly. No, that's the biggest part of it. Is they need us to be buying what they're selling. And so
yeah, dude, you gotta fucking go to Olive Garden. You wouldn't eat at Olive Garden if you knew if like your grandmother's cooking tasted like.
Yeah.
Like if you ever had a good sandwich, you would never eat a Subway sandwich again in your life.
Fucking very true, dude. It's very true. Yeah, 1,000%.
I mean, I'm not trying to get on some capitalist shit right now, but whatever.
I don't mind. I'm into it, dude. Have you been watching? Yeah.
I was thinking about when we were about to record, you know, when I knew we were going to record tonight, I was like, I wonder who listens to my show, you know? And like, I don't want to ever get to a place where it's like, I'm jeopardizing potential employment because of some shit that I said on the show. Like, yeah, well, there's this one producer who, you know, and like maybe the details are too fucking obvious, you know, or if like I was like, yeah, this one project, can you believe this executive? Even if I kept the details really fucking like nebulous, I still am like, shit, well, you know, they don't. I don't know.
No, I feel like I said some shit the other day to a friend of mine at another agency at another house, and he thought it was so funny he repeated it, and I was like, dude, you can't be telling people that I said that. Like, you can't let anyone know that came from me.
Right.
But apparently, yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, I sometimes when I first like launched, like kind of relaunched the podcast, you know, I was kind of like, cause like a lot of the people who follow me on social media are the same people who bring me in for work. So I mean, I guess they know me, like they know that nothing said here is beyond the pale of what is said there. But still, I'm like, you know, I just feel like I'm like, because this is what I want to do ultimately is like turn this into work, you know, whether it's writing, you know, being able to get a book deal from this, or if somebody wants to pay me to do this, or if it's, you know, this can somehow turn into getting a show, like whatever the fuck might be.
Stamps.com, baby.
I know, you know, me undies. But like, while I'm trying to build this thing, I got to make sure that I'm still able to do the fucking bread and butter day job.
Yeah.
So that's what's been on my mind. I mean, if you really want, I have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old. You really want to fucking know what's on my...
Yeah. What are they up to? What have they been doing?
No, it's great. It's all wonderful. This is a wonderful time.
My buddy Griff has a kid, and
Griff.
Yeah, he's great. I love him. But
great name.
his daughter is sick right now, and it's the first time she's ever been sick like this. And she didn't know what to do when you puke. So she just starts freaking out and panicking and running down the halls to tell her parents, like, I'm puking, what do I do?
Oh.
And so that's just all over the hallway. It's fucking spaghetti goes all down the rug. And I was like, you know what? I'm cool waiting a bit longer before I have some.
Dude, no amount of time will prepare you for, there's nothing anybody could have ever said, no book I ever could have read, nothing could have prepared me for this. This is not me trying to, dissuade you by any means. I just truly believe, because I remember early on when Louis, my oldest, was like 2, 3, feeling like, man, nobody fucking told me the real shit that I needed people to tell me. But it wasn't until a couple years later that I really came to understand that nobody could have told me, because there's stuff, obviously there are little anecdotes like that are hilarious, but the actual like day-to-day boots on the ground, there's no preparation for it. None. You wouldn't believe people if they fucking told you. It's amazing. It is the greatest thing I've ever done. It brings me more joy than anything I've ever done. And it is the hardest, most psychologically tormenting, patience trying. I mean, my sanity.
Oh, well, yeah. No, I know. No, we've talked.
Right. Right. You've only ever known me as a dad, though.
Yeah, no, I never got to. I would have loved to have gotten to fucking party with. And I use this as a term of endearment, dirtbag Nick. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. Probably most of the people listening know exactly what you mean. Yeah, no, it was a wild time. I'm glad to be here now. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm kind of past the surprise now, but here I am. I'm glad that this is where I am. Kind of shocking I made it here.
It's definitely like, I look back on my life and I'm like, if I had made a few different decisions, I am so dead. Like, there's just no way I would have made it,
Multiple times. There were multiple times from like 16, maybe even earlier, 14 to like 27, 30, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Well, I met my wife when I was 24, so like that kind of helped, Oh,
sure.
A little.
Did she ground you pretty well? She keep you from getting too wild?
Back then?
Yeah. Or were you two like enablers, cohorts?
Probably a little of column A and a little of column B.
Right.
I mean, I think that like, and it may cut this, but I think that like she was ready to like chill before I was ready to chill. I think like a lot of times, like a lot of the early frictions in our relationship were like me just like wanting to fucking go to 100 again, and her being like, dude, you gotta chill, like chill the fuck out, like I don't, this isn't the life that I want,
Yeah.
But like I'm chill now, dude. I went to that holiday party on Friday, dude. I was gone and like there for like 45 minutes, said hello, talked to people for a little bit, could see what was happening, and then was like, I'm out.
We can't like we used to anymore. I'd die if I tried to,
People do though. People do.
Dude, I had a buddy recently. He went cirrhosis. Have I told you about this?
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude, that was a fucking hell of a wake up call. Not a wake up call, but just like a sliding doors kind of thing, where it's like, shit, dude. I just picked up the bottle in college and never set it down, and tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's sad, dude.
You know, I
So what's that mean though? Like, is that like a death sentence?
Well, it was, yeah. He, like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Oh, he's dead?
Yeah. I got a text from a
shit.
friend. I was just like, hey, he's dead. And I was like, Jesus Christ, why? And I guess he never told his doctor how much he was drinking. And his doctor thought he had celiacs. And it was too much. And I recently had a physical where I was so fucking happy. I got to look the doctor in the eye and not lie about how much I was drinking. I told him, I haven't been drinking this long. And he's like, oh, wow, really? Congratulations. I was like, yeah, I've been, quit smoking, going to the gym, just having my shit together in general.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
I had... Yeah, sorry, I missed the part where you said dead at the beginning. I just thought that it was a diagnosis, and I was like, fuck, what's that? Anyway, I apologize. Sorry for your loss also. I had a couple of those doctor's appointments recently. Well, I had a dentist's appointment, and then I had a doctor's appointment. The dentist was like, your teeth are, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And like, I floss every day, I like take care of myself, but like... And then the doctor, like, my blood pressure was so insanely low. Like, it was like absurdly low. Like I couldn't believe how low the number was, healthy wise.
He's sure it was your blood pressure.
Yeah, right. I know. And I just like run up the steps too, because like the fucking elevator wasn't working. I was like, I'm not fucking waiting anymore. And I saw the steps and I was like, I'm going up the steps. I ran up the steps and I'm sitting there with the cuff on me, wearing the mask. And I was like, whatever, talking to the lady. I was like, maybe we just take a minute and let me settle down a little bit. She's like, just take a deep breath. I'm like, all right. And there was like fucking 103 over whatever the fuck, 60 or whatever. But anyway, and then they were like talking about how strong my blood flow was. Every fucking person was just like, don't stop what you're doing. And between that and the dentist appointment, as like a 38-year-old who like literally never thought that I would live past 30 and like didn't go to the dentist for like 5 years at one point, like all this shit, like, waffled from being obese to like anorexia, like, just not anorexia, but like waif thin, like, and on, whatever, to get that feedback was so life affirming and validating that like I've come so fucking far. Like I'm so fucking proud of myself. Like I'm not the best dad in the world, but I try every day. And like I work really hard to be a better person and to be a better husband and to be a better friend and just to be better. And like I don't know, it's really validating when you get that feedback, No,
absolutely.
And like this, I'm sure like your friend died. Like, I'm sure a bunch of people, like there's all kinds of people who I know who are dead, who are fucking 40 or younger, who are dead from drugs or just shitty fucking choices. And I'm like, yeah, dude, life. Sliding doors. Like I feel #blessed to be here. Really
though. Like, yeah, it's insane. Like, I don't know. I don't like the word. I've been struggling with this idea of like the word deserve, because people have been like, oh, you work so hard, you deserve all these great things and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't like deserve, because then that means like other people deserved that or whatever. And I hate that feeling, because then I feel guilty. And then I start to spiral. I'm like, oh,
woo, guilt and shame spiral, baby.
Yeah. And all I did was not die. And like now I'm in my head about it,
Yeah. Earn? I don't know. Is it earn?
Deserve.
What's a better? I know. What's a better word though? I don't know.
I like earn better because I can quantify earn. Like I put the dollars into my bank account, and that's how I earned buying a thing.
Right.
But to deserve something just feels like it's giving the universe too much credit to dole out karma correctly, and I don't think it does. I don't think it really cares. I think it's all pretty fucking random. And so, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. Cause yeah, obviously it's like, why is that guy 2 blocks from my house under the bridge? You know, why am I here? I deserve this. He deserved that. Like, you know, I don't really know. I mean, and this could get into some really esoteric space, but I guess we could just leave it there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I've been lucky versus fortunate, you know, like, or like fortunate. Like I feel very fortunate, you know, and I don't feel privileged. I feel very fortunate to have this set of circumstances that I was born into, you know, and that I've worked to get myself to this place, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but I'm just going to leave that there.
I'll say some things. I feel like there's a lot of, I mean, when it comes to privilege and whatnot, there's a lot of people that aren't doing anywhere near as well as us that feel like they missed out on the privilege, but they also like haven't put in a lot of the work to improve themselves the way we have. I think there's something to that. Like we came from a place and we have good blood pressure and we're not drinking as much, you know, like we put in a bit of work, and that's the difference between deserve and earn. Is earn also has work behind it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and like, all right, here we go. I feel like it's hard to be like lumped into a certain group of people because of like maybe how I appear in the world, when like a lot of those people's set of circumstances were way different than my set of circumstances. And I find that when we just try to distill everybody's reality based on one attribute that they may have as the same reality, maybe we get into a space where things are not accurately represented or portrayed, and we lose a lot of maybe subtlety and nuance about people's lived experience.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's true for anyone, however they look.
There's like just a big difference, I think, between like Nic Romolini and like Grayson McDermott, you know, or whatever.
Gavin Newsom.
I mean,
yeah, no, 100%. I feel you. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Never seen a fucking paisan in high office. Well. Well, one state, but anyway, 2 states actually. Anyway,
who's got Italian governors? I guess New York
and your boy in Florida.
Oh Christ! No, is he?
DeSantis? Hell yeah, he's as fucking Italian as they come.
I don't know what I was hoping for, but I wasn't. That's a bummer, man. He's not the best of us. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. That's the other thing. It's all fine. My blood pressure doesn't have to be fucking up here all the time. Like I don't know. Like
you've been doing any like grounding stuff? You've been doing any like breathing stuff?
I try to do like 15 minutes of yoga in the morning.
Nice. Oh yeah.
And I've been going to the gym. I've been lifting weights, and I was doing cardio. I was doing hikes for a while, and now I'm starting to do more like weight training, and I want to start doing like sprints rather than like long, slow hikes, because I want to like get in shape, like good shape. But like, no, I was on like a run, dude. Like I was on a run of meditation like every day for like a year, dude. And then like,
your blood pressure's low, okay?
Huh?
And your blood pressure's low.
Yeah.
After your meditation, yeah, probably.
Well, I stopped a while ago. Whatever. This is just excuse city, but I find that I have to choose how I spend my time. And I'm like, well, the stretching seems like there will be more of a benefit for me than the meditation. Ideally, I would do both.
I mean, the yoga can almost serve as both. Like if you can get into that sort of space and like with a vinyasa flow.
Yeah.
You know,
it's true. It's true. How about you? You do shit like that?
Yeah, you know, like I when I was back at my old place, I would go to Hollywood Boulders like 3 times a week, go climbing in the mornings, and then hit the whatchamacallit, sauna, meditate in the sauna. And that felt pretty great.
I've been doing the sauna. Yeah, I've been doing the sauna at the gym. I joined the Y, and dude, saunas.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
In there, I've got like a little half gallon of water. I take it in there and just like keep chugging that down as I sit in there, and just bullets coming out. And
yeah,
it's really refreshing. It's a great way to start the morning. And then like you hop into the cold shower after, and it just closes up all the pores, and you just feel refreshed and ready for the day.
It's life-changing. I mean, it's definitely I mean, I know that I'm on one right now and maybe always, but like I feel like I'm less on one, you know, like than I could be, you know, like I feel like it's like it helps. I mean, it obviously brings down physical inflammation, which I think brings down, you know, psychological inflammation, you know, like I think it's obviously all connected.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Saunas are incredible. Have you ever been to Wi Spa?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, we should go. Yeah, I love it. And it's just down the street from me.
Yeah, same. It's probably equidistant. It's like between us, basically.
I love it. I threw my buddy's bachelor party at Wi Spa.
That's a vibe. That's a vibe.
Wild vibe. Just 6 dudes hanging out. went to a Yamashiro, got sushi afterwards. It was a great bachelor party. I'm glad that he wanted that and not some like, you know, crazy stripper bullshit or whatever. But
yeah, dude. Yeah, I avoided like I moved out like early enough before my friends got married, so I don't know that any of my friends would have wanted that shit, but like that shit's why are most dudes just like nightmares?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's really a bummer because like we get lumped in with them
again, just because of one attribute that I might have.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, I don't feel lumped in with them too much because I know, and this might just be me being a little condescending and a little full of my own shit, but I've done the work to be better than them, and my life my life's going well, and if theirs isn't, then that's on them, you know?
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel too lumped in with them. I know that like people might make a assessment of me based on I do look the way I do.
Dude, I judge mad books by their covers. All I do is judge books by their covers. I was thinking about, and I complain about that shit all the time. And then like, I always have to have these reckonings with myself of like, there was some woman at the playground and I could just see her like pursed face, you know? And I was like, I'm not fucking, she's uptight. She's, you know, and she said something to her kid, like, that's his toy. Don't play with his toy or whatever. And I was like, oh, fucking, here we go. Somebody who's got to teach like toy possession to their kids, to their 2-year-old or whatever. And like all this fucking prejudgment that I made. And then like a few minutes later, somehow our kids were playing and then we were talking and I was like, oh, she's totally sweet and kind. And there was no intent, like there was no malice behind what she was saying. She was just trying to be like, teach her kids to respect other people, you know, like whatever. But like, I complain that people do this shit and that's all I do. So, I mean, obviously I wouldn't be complaining about it if.
I think I also just assume the worst of any situation and that carries over to people as well. Like I assume whatever is bad that could possibly happen will certainly happen to me. So I have to be ready for that situation. And, you know, in my childhood, it was, oh, if I talk to this person, they're gonna make fun of me. So I need to have like a Rolodex of insults to throw back at them because they're definitely gonna say some shit.
Right.
And that's something that took some time to get over. But
yeah, I mean, that's like real, again, that's real trauma shit. That's like real shit. Like Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that what you're describing is catastrophizing, you know? I mean, that's I catastrophize every situation, you know? I mean, or I used to. I mean, I'm better. I'm better than I used to be, but like that's all I would do is think of worst case scenarios always. It's never like what's going to go right, it's what's going to go wrong, you know?
How's this going to, turn sideways on me? Because I'd rather be ready for that than be caught off guard on it, you know? I'd rather be prepared for it than have to make something up. I'm getting better. Improv helped me with that a lot. But like being able to not necessarily have a plan, but trust myself to find a way through rather than like have to prepare for every situation in my head ahead of time.
Yeah, I'm working on that a lot, and a friend recently was like, because I had this situation and I was really obsessing over it, and I was only, obsessing over the worst case scenario, and he reminded me, as he always does, if you spend all this time living this situation in your mind that hasn't happened, and then it happens, you've now had to live it twice.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen, you've had to live it once unnecessarily. But why make yourself live these things twice? Just like have trust in yourself that, like you said, that you know how to navigate situations and you'll be able to handle anything that comes your way. But that fucking future tripping that obviously is a result of whatever similarities there are in our childhoods, like, because that's where all the shit comes, right? So it just takes a lot of years to untangle all that. And I'm sure you want to talk more about editing.
I'm fine wherever we go. Editing.
Huh?
We can get back onto editing.
No, it's fine. I feel like I don't know if you knew what you were signing up. Well, you probably knew what you were signing up for.
I've listened to most of your episodes, man. Yeah. I'm
thanks.
I was talking about pretty much everything that you cover is, it's all the same sort of shit that I think about and would like to talk about. So it's all good.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. It's, it connects with people. People like to hear about it. It's weird though, because I was thinking, and there was a pocket in this conversation where we were talking about editing and I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. Because like I do have a lot of shit to talk about that's not just this stuff, but it's like I always find that this is the most compelling stuff to talk about if somebody's willing to go there.
Do you ever fuck with Fred Rogers?
Like Mister?
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, okay. You got a book?
I'm a big fan. Yeah, it's A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It was that Tom Hanks movie, but it was originally, it's just like a book of Mr. Rogers' thoughts. And
okay.
I would highly recommend giving it a read, but there's a specific quote that Mr. Rogers had, and it was, if it's mentionable, it's manageable. If we can talk about something, we can find our way through it. And that's a solid one. And I think it's really true. And I think if people were more willing to talk about these things would be a lot more manageable,
I mean, yeah. And I think like if men were more able to talk about these things in a disarmed way.
Yeah.
Because like there's this like masculinity barrier, I think, to being this like open and vulnerable. Now, I will say one thing before I go on this tirade. There is something to the idea that some things are easier to just do than keep talking about. Like, I think it would be a lot maybe easier for me to just like go through my closet rather than continue to analyze why I struggle so much to address clutter. Yeah. Fascinating as that may be to discuss.
Because cleaning out the closet is just one aspect of that larger sort of aspect of yourself, right? Like that's just
right.
sort of a symptom of a bigger, I mean, not to clinicalize it, but you know.
For sure. No, yeah, it's a symptom of the
but it's easier to pull a shirt off a rack and throw it in a bag than it is to figure out why that was so hard.
Right. So it's all like it's all part and parcel of the same journey.
Yeah.
But like my original point is like I think there's such like a barrier for some people because they're so entrenched in this false idea of masculinity, because I think the true definition of masculinity is this ability to be vulnerable and is this ability to communicate feelings in an effective way that helps everybody heal, because I think that that's what we all need is healing, you know. If this world obviously is going to go anywhere, like men need healing.
Yeah, a lot of them, big time. And I mean, that's one of the things that I think was so fucking wild and gangster about Mr. Rogers was that this is a guy who was trying to get, I mean, through children, but get people to have honest conversations about how they feel in the 70s, you know, like this is a dude that was trying to make a conversation about how do we feel? How do we express how we feel? How do we get to know our emotions as if they're like characters or people that, oh, here comes anger. How do I respond when anger shows up? You know?
Right.
And he was trying to get people to talk about that 50 years ago.
I feel like I haven't been checking for Mr. Rogers in the way that maybe I should have been. I mean, I remember I watched a lot of it growing up, but I know all that the documentary that came out a few years ago, and then the feature came out too, right?
It was weird because there was Colin Hanks had one, and where he played Mr. Rogers, and then Tom did one. Just to like not be one up by his son.
So there was a documentary done by the dude who did the Bourdain doc, right? And then there was a feature with Colin Hanks and then a feature with Tom Hanks.
They both played Mr. Rogers.
That's wild.
They got into rival projects where they both played Mr. Rogers, which I just think is funny. But
it feels like Tom would have maybe bigger issues with Chet than Colin, but I don't know.
It can't be easy knowing that you're not your dad's favorite. Like,
the thing is, though, I kind of fuck with Chet. Like, I kind of don't hate him. I mean, I've only seen a little bit. I'm just saying, like, you know.
No, his opinions are his own, and you do not vouch for them. But
I don't represent them. Nope.
He does have like a certain energy that is just sort of chaotic and chaotic in a fun, whimsical way. Like you never know what he's going to do or what kind of accent he'll have.
What did Chet do yesterday? You know. But yeah, it's got to be tough being Tom Hanks' kid. And probably Tom Hanks doesn't like you as much as he likes the other one.
Right? No, he definitely doesn't. Like, Tom Hanks came out, he was like, oh, we got COVID. We are like some of the first celebrities to get COVID. And then Chet was like, fuck the vaccines.
But the thing is, like, how much of that is Tom Hanks as a father, and how much is it like Chet being who he is preternaturally? Like, I wonder, because like as a parent, you see how your children are different and you see how you respond differently to your children. And then it really has made me really rethink like how people become what they are and how much of it is innate and then how much the nurture is informed by the nature.
That's
so like, I think they're more inextricably linked than maybe where it's like, oh, well, you know, it's a balance of nature versus nurture. But it's like, well, the nurture might come differently because of the nature. I'm saying Chet could have just been fucking wild from Jump Street and Tom never knew what to do with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe Colin was just fucking, you know, real easy.
Colin's clearly seeking his father's approval, whereas Chet doesn't need it or want it. Yeah.
Nah, he's not. Chet's not concerned. Chet's not concerned.
But then it's like, well, what if Chet hadn't been Tom Hanks's son? Like, what if he hadn't had all the opportunities that come with being Tom Hanks's son? Like, Colin didn't have to go follow in his father's footsteps. Chet, they both could have just fucked off and lived off of Tom's money for the rest of their lives, you know?
It's true. But the other element of that too, though, is like, what if Chet had a different set of parents, maybe the right set of parents for Chet, or maybe this is the right set of, maybe like this reality for Chet is the best possible reality, but like, what's Chet sliding doors with a different set of parents, you know, who maybe are more tuned to Chet's frequency.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I wonder about that sometimes too. Like, if you had the parents who were more suited towards what you needed, how would not you, the royal you, how would your reality have maybe turned out differently?
Yeah, I wondered, like, what if my parents hadn't raised us Catholic? That would have been great, you know? What if we grew up Protestant and our parents just loved us or whatever?
Is that what Protestants do?
No, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Protestants on the East Coast, like they've been here longer, they're settled, they're like that Connecticut upper echelon life. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Protestant wasps, man. Wasps.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I don't know. It feels
not
like
that.
What's that?
Our last names end in vowels. We're not that. I'm afraid to inform you, Tony.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I just wonder what that would have, like, to have come from a family with, well, no, they got their own fucked up shit. Yeah, it's the Anna Karenina of it all. Like,
I do wonder. Yeah, go ahead.
The first line of Anna Karenina is, every happy family is happy in the same way. Every unhappy family is unhappy in their own way. Like, it's, yeah. Makes us more special.
Yeah, right. How long were you Catholic? Like, are you confirmed?
I was not confirmed. I got up to, but did not cross the line. I know.
Confirmed, my friend. I'm a confirmed Catholic.
They got you. You can't turn around now.
Did you do like Sunday school, or did you go to Catholic school, or what did you?
I did do a bit of CCD. I didn't go to like Catholic school. I was public school my whole life, which was pretty dope. I'm pretty happy about that. And that I got to go to like solid public schools.
Oh, that's cool. They had those back then?
Yeah. So Livermore, the tiny town that I grew up in, had, you've probably heard, you know, the fusion news that came out this week, where they've that's my hometown. That's a giant national laboratory, a bunch of eggheads. So they've got
nice.
Yeah.
It's good to have some nerds.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
But
I was just curious. I did CCD as well, and then I got confirmed. And like the day I got confirmed, my mom was like, "You never have to go back there. You never have to go to church again. I don't care what you do. It's over for you." Basically, not in so many words.
Her responsibility as a Catholic mother was to just get you across that finish line, and then it's up to you from there on. She's done, you know.
That's it. So I mean, and you know, she did not care that I wasn't fucking married in a Catholic church. I mean, she hasn't been to church. She hadn't been to church like I was going to church way after she ever went to church. You know what I'm saying?
My parents did a weird reversal. So like growing up, my mom's family, hella Catholic. I mean, my dad's family is kind of Catholic. Like they're Catholic, but liberal. And
there's some of those out there.
Yeah. And so, so growing up, my mom was like, no, we got to go to church. No, we got to get dressed up. No, you're going to get, do your communion. You're going to blah, blah, blah. Confession, all that shit. And then my dad was like, "Oh no, I'm agnostic." I was like, "What's that?" He's like, "Oh, there could be a God. I don't know." And then my mom had cancer, and now she's like, fucking can't take it with you, whatever. I don't care. And my dad, since they got divorced, now he's like, he likes having the company. He goes to church for the company,
Right.
Which is interesting. Like, it's weird that they've sort of just swap positions on it,
right.
As they've gotten older. So I've been pretty much atheistic my entire life. Like, even growing up in the church, I had some questions. There were some things that didn't add up to me. Like, hey, this guy is all powerful, but his kid had to die. I don't get that part. What was the trade off? Like, what was if we're gonna kill Jesus and that forgives all the sins? Couldn't he have just sort of waved a hand and wiped away the sins of the world? It's just some questions that came up in my head as I was going through catechism and shit. Or like, oh hey, this is an all-powerful being, and he's created us, but he also really needs us to like him. What's going on there? Why is he so insecure?
I don't know.
There's a lot of questions. So early on, I had these questions, and like no one had good answers for me. So I was just kind of like, well, then this is bullshit. So fuck off,
Yeah, no, I dig it. When did your parents get divorced?
Way too late. 2008.
You have siblings?
Two younger sisters. They waited till
20s.
What's that?
So you were in your 20s, and your youngest sister was.
She just graduated. They stuck it out for the kids.
For the kids. Wow. When did you know they were done for?
Well, let me put it this way. Okay, so I was in my last year of college, and I got a phone call from my mom, and she was like, "Hey, we're having a family meeting. What do you want on your pizza?" And I said, Jesus, who died? And she said, "No one's dead. What do you want on your pizza?" And I said, "Oh, fuck, you guys are getting divorced?" She said, "You're getting pepperoni," and hung up.
It's good. I mean, could have been pineapple.
How long I've known is sort of like, that's the hierarchy, is either grandma's dead or they're getting a divorce. One of those two things are why we're having a family meeting,
But how long did you know that they were done? Like maybe not. Like, when did you know that shit was not right?
15, 16.
15, 16?
They were done, yeah. There was, I have, you remember that Fatboy Slim track, Praise You?
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. I had this idea when I was in middle or high school where I was going to record that song off of the radio, put it on a tape, have them sit down and look in each other's eyes and play that song for them. And I didn't get around to it. And
the rest is history. You have no one else to blame but yourself for the fate of your parents. I always wonder about that stuff. My parents are still together. They actually just celebrated their 50th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Which is insane. Thanks.
Yeah.
But like, there was some, I mean, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how anybody does it, stays together for that long. But I'm always curious. I mean, I feel lucky that, because it's rare, I think, for parents to still be together. Like, I think divorce is probably more.
No, we're the divorce generation.
Yeah.
Like almost all my friends' parents have been divorced at some point.
Right. Dude, one of my friends is actually, I know someone who's probably going to get a divorce and like has a kid.
We know a couple of people who are probably going to, but yeah. That's rough. But they're going through it, huh?
I just can't believe it. It's just strange, like, to be at that life stage where it's like, oh shit, divorce is like possible. Like, I don't know.
I'm a little ready for it. I'm over here, never been married, own a home. I'm ready for the divorces to start showing up. Come on.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, you've set yourself up in a nice position here.
Yeah. No, there's going to be some ladies returning to the market after being disappointed for a long time.
And all of a sudden, there's going to be someone called Scotty being like, can I call you dad?
Well, that's not that's a problem for later.
No. I'm saying when these divorcees show up, they're not showing up kidless, my guy.
I know. But that's a conversation for a longer term. That's a month 3 conversation. Where's this going?
Fair enough. We've gotten here. Any other?
Yeah. I don't know, man. How long do you normally go? An hour? No, normally you're like 30 minutes, right?
I mean, I've had the conversations go long, like the early ones went really long.
Yeah.
Like this around here, maybe a little longer. But my new ones where it's just me are anywhere from, 6 to 30 minutes. There's no time limit. I'm just thinking about post because I still don't have an intern,
Man.
So I'm always thinking about,
You should really, we got to find you a PA or something.
I need some help. I can't keep doing it. If the people want to be fed, I need some fucking help. If they want this content, I need some fucking kid to come over and help me. I'll pay him.
I feel you, dude.
It's not a living wage, but I'll pay him a reasonable wage that I would have gotten paid when I was like up and coming.
Well, adjust for inflation, but yeah, that's the general idea.
What's that? Like $8 an hour or something? $12 an hour?
I think minimum's at least 15 now.
Well, that's just with these fucking liberals in California trying to give out free money to everybody. I'll do Florida's fucking minimum wage, Tennessee's minimum wage.
Just with these fucking people that want to be able to eat and have heat at the same time.
Yeah, fuck that. What's the federal minimum wage? It's still like $7.50, right? That's what my interns get. Nah, I'm just kidding. The federal minimum wage hasn't been raised in like 25, 30 years or something outrageous like that.
What a great place to be an employee right now. Like, this country's got some real issues regarding its governance, and I don't know, man. I would not be surprised if it's guillotine, but we'll see how it goes.
What?
Guillotine? What's
that mean?
Portmanteau of guillotine and the word time.
Oh, you mean like if it's French Revolution time?
All I'm saying is they did it once and they did it fucking right, and now they still have sick leave. That's all I'm fucking saying.
They get mad time off. They get mad time off. They have real good quality of life over there, dude.
The whole month of August. And you know what happens when anyone threatens their sick leave? They fucking riot and burn shit to the ground.
You're not the first one to allude to that moment in history of the people in my circle in the last few months. But it's funny, though, how... And again, I don't want to get too political. Maybe we'll just wrap up soon with another Mr. Rogers quote. But it's funny how conveniently things just get kicked around. Like, oh, no, we really care about this shit. But with this shit, no, the states are going to handle this one. But the states can't handle this one. But they can handle. It's like the outrage is funny when you look at both sides of the coin, or whatever proverbial thing. It's just funny. It's just funny how the buck gets passed. It's just funny how we've been made to cannibalize each other. Like the citizens, how we've just been divided so we hate each other.
Yeah.
In a way that's really sanctimonious on both sides.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the real fucking enemy is over there like, come eat at Olive Garden. And come work at Olive Garden for $7.50 an hour.
I mean, yeah, I could go on a whole tear about that, where it's like we look down on the governance of China because we're like, well, no, they just have a one party system. Oh, what's that party? The Communist Party. Oh, what are our two parties? Capitalist and capitalist. What's that make us? It's a false dichotomy. They're giving us Coke and Pepsi, and we keep.
Well, yeah, and it's just funny to me how people dig into their political camps, and I'm like, don't you fucking see? They get in power, they fuck you, and then they get in power, and they're like, well, they fucked you, and there's nothing we can do. While they keep fucking you, because they're all bought and sold by the same.
I saw a stand-up today, and she was describing the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, and she was like, the Democrats are like that uncle that says he's going to take you to Disneyland, and he keeps promising to take you to Disneyland, but something just keeps coming up. Republicans are the uncle that tells you it's irresponsible to go to Disneyland, says you should never go to Disneyland, and then you find out he went to Disneyland.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
It's not good, man. Oh, dude, have you watched Andor yet?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's a Star Wars show, but it's not about Star Wars. It's about violent revolution.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, it's dope. Like I'm a big fan of For Whom the Bell Tolls, which was Hemingway's telling of the Spanish Civil War and this group of rebels in the Spanish Civil War. He was an embedded reporter during the Spanish Civil War, so he got to see some of this shit firsthand. Really? Yeah.
Wow.
Dude was a real one. Like, he was over there.
Yeah, he was a real one.
You know, like, but he, I don't know. It's my favorite book because it's just like, it's about this American professor that was just like, oh yeah, I have to go over to Spain because there's fascists and I kill fascists. And I really like that. I appreciate that, you know?
Yeah.
Not to get too political.
No. Well, yeah, I just my fear is that we don't characterize enough people as fascists.
Oh, no, I agree.
I do wonder, like, do you think it's better somewhere else?
I mean, for people that look like us, the Netherlands, some Nordic countries.
Sure.
Yeah, there's definitely some racist shit that happens up there.
Right.
Yeah.
But you could just stick your head in the sand, right?
Well, I mean, there's also, you can stick your head in the sand. There's not going to be as many people. There's not as much diversity. It's going to be really hard to get good dim sum. Like, there are things that there's, especially Los Angeles, I do love because it represents opportunity like that.
Yeah, and I can never leave this city.
There's so much diversity here that, like, I visit family in Ohio, and like I asked one of them, hey, have you ever, like, what's the most like ethnic food you've ever had? And he's like, I guess Italian. I was like, you never had like Thai food? He's like, what's that?
Wow.
I was like, I don't know. Like, it's like Chinese, but different. I can't, that's not even a fair, you know, this is the closest thing that you might have as a touchstone, you know, like they just don't have the opportunity to try these things because no one wants to go to fucking Ohio, but yeah, no, I think
it's weird. Like this city in particular, I actually get overwhelmed. Like I could have panic attacks thinking about all the food that's here that I want to try that I'll never get to try because I'll die before I'm able to.
There's just too many places.
Endless. It's endless. But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I think, of course, Los Angeles, New York, the big cities represent that opportunity that you're talking about. But I don't think as a country we represent that. Because there's people in fucking Nebraska that they're just waiting. You know, they don't have economy. They don't have.
Well, no, they had it. they had it and now they don't have it anymore.
Yeah, because we let them do that. We let them take our jobs and send them overseas.
Yeah. And also like the farm bill that they just keep signing that allows these companies to force monocropping and force pesticides and change the way we actually farm our food and just poison our own populace because the FDA actually isn't in charge of regulating anything because the very companies they're meant to regulate are the ones who fund the FDA.
Oh, what do you mean corn syrup's bad? We are not supposed to eat high fructose corn syrup in every fucking thing we eat.
Dude, how do you expect anybody to trust the government about anything ever?
They shouldn't. Anyway, you want me to read this fucking poem?
Yep, and then we'll just leave it on this really uplifting note. Sorry, I can't help myself.
You know what I want you to? I want just a whole tirade between both of us, and then just what do you do with the mad that you feel, and then have like Mr. Rogers' piano come in.
Beautiful. That's a good note.
Okay, so this is a song that Mr. Rogers wrote that is based on a question, which the question is, what do you do with the mad you feel when you feel so mad you could bite? That's a question that a 5-year-old or something came up to him and asked him because the child had felt this type of anger that was making him want to bite people, and he didn't know what to do with it. And I think that if a lot of people could talk about that anger, then maybe they wouldn't be biting as many people. You know what I mean? What do you do with the mad that you feel when you feel so mad you could bite? When the whole wide world seems oh so wrong and nothing you do seems very right. What do you do? Do you punch a bag? Do you pound some clay or some dough? Do you round up friends for a game of tag or see how fast you go? It's great to be able to stop. And when you've planned a thing that's wrong, and be able to do something else instead and think this song. I can stop when I want to. I can stop when I wish. I can stop anytime. And what a good feeling to feel like this. And know that the feeling is really mine. Know that there's something deep inside that helps us become what we can. For a girl can someday be a woman, and a boy can someday be a man. And that's Fred Rogers.
I could probably listen to that more often than just this one time, and it would probably help me a lot. It's funny, those simple messages, I feel like you just need them over and over and over and over and over and over again, because I forget right away that like I don't have to be mad. This is a choice. There's that Abraham Lincoln quote. Some folks are as happy as they've made their mind up to be, basically. Something along those lines. I'm butchering it, but just this idea that like we can choose our reality. We can choose we can choose our reaction to our reality. It's Viktor Frankl. I mean, he's in the fucking camps and he's still finding joy. It's like I could be mired in this the way that I felt when I was just going off, in this conversation, or like I could just be like, man, it's like really beautiful to just connect with another human being and like be alive and feel the ground beneath my feet and, know that I have 2 beautiful children inside and a beautiful wife and all that. It's like turning to gratitude is really the only fucking answer, and it's right in front of us, Yeah. So,
hey man, well, thank you for having me on. This has been absolutely incredible and
awesome. Thanks for taking the time.
TikTok.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Pitch yourself. Go ahead. Do it.
Postmortem.mov on TikTok. Postmortem.mov on Instagram. Check me out. Look me up. Trying to teach editing professional tips and tricks for people trying to make the jump to the professional level.
And I think 6 minutes of this hour and a half might have alluded to that. So I'll put your links in the show notes, man. People will come check you out. Keep doing what you're doing, man. It was great to talk to you.
Likewise, man.
All right, brother. Peace.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty.